Hi, great to see you there for the latest edition. I'm Matt Weiner, Brendan Haywood right over there. Three-time MVP Lisa Leslie in the house here as well. All of Saturday's best on the way, but we'll start with increasingly bad news on the Laker front. Brandon Ingram is expected to miss the rest of the season due to a deep vein thrombosis in his right arm. Ingram had already missed 2 games with what the Lakers were calling a sore right shoulder. He's shown flashes as a dynamic scorer this season, averaging a career high 18 points a game. And that's not all. According to multiple reports, Lonzo Ball is also done for the remainder of the season. He missed his 19th straight game Saturday due to an ankle injury suffered January 19th. If his season is over, in fact, Ball will miss nearly 40% of the Lakers' games in his first 2 NBA seasons. So, guys, a couple of questions come to mind here. One is about how much should LeBron be playing down the stretch as all these parts disappear from the lineup? Secondly, how do these injuries potentially impact trade discussions for Anthony Davis or somebody else this summer?
Well, it's tough. I think first off, when you talk about for LeBron James, he should have his minutes limited, but he can get out there and still continue to play and put up numbers and be effective on the court. But when you look at the injuries, I mean, for Brandon Ingram, my prayers go out to him that hopefully this diagnosis doesn't end up being something more worse like we saw with Chris Bosh. And then overall, the injuries for the guys on the bench, it's tough down the stretch. The Lakers are no longer playing for anything. So I don't know if it means a lot. Maybe it's better for them to be out because they have injuries, but that's a heck of a long time. We talk about an ankle injury. Now, I've had a sprained ankle. I don't know, Brandon, how long ankle injury from January to now, and you're still not on the floor? That's a serious ankle injury.
And serious injuries like that happen. And, probably if the Lakers are going to the playoffs, they probably work Lonzo Ball back in. But it doesn't make sense right now to have him try to come back from this ankle injury at this point in the season. As far as Brandon Ingram goes, I'm with you. Very, very concerned. Prayers going out to him and his family. This is much bigger than basketball, and we wish him well. And we hope he's back on the court very soon. Unfortunately, then there's the business aspect of this. How does Brandon Ingram's injury affect the Lakers as far as trade demands? It affects it a lot because Brandon Ingram is going to be one of the main pieces that some of these teams, especially a team like the Pelicans, will be talking about if they were trying to get a trade for Anthony Davis. So a lot of different things to unpack as far as this injury goes, but the biggest thing is just that we hope he gets healthy at some point.
That diagnosis, deep vein thrombosis, was the same one that Bosh had initially. Ultimately, it progressed to a point where he had to end his NBA career. So no Ingram or Ball or Kyle Kuzma, who's still out with an ankle injury, as the Celtics arrived at Staples, and look who's there.
See you July 1st, good buddy. See you.
Pictures say a lot, don't they?
Yeah.
LeBron has to do a lot without all those guys in the lineup, and you know what? He did.
Listen.
Only played 28 minutes, but got himself his 80th career triple-double.
And listen, they can limit his minutes, and he can still get his numbers. He's a stat machine. Look at that pass right there. Great finish also.
That was Jonathan Williams playing just his 9th NBA games. Lakers need people in the lineup. Meanwhile, Kyrie Irving
Doing what Uncle Drew does best, passing that ball.
That's a great pass. That's an excellent pass in transition with the left hand. Truly special.
Suddenly revived Celtics team up by 8 at that point. Second half.
Oh, come on now. Now you just playing. Now you just playing around, Kyrie. Oh man, somebody call Steve Smith. I got to play for his top 5 plays underneath the rim.
Pretty good in transition. Kyrie. Lakers running.
That's what he actually did. And did it again.
And then Kyrie for 3.
We know he can do that. Kyrie, one of the better clutch shot.
Oh, and behind the back.
Shot makers we have in this league. Also one of the best ball handlers we have in this league.
He is. And you know when Kyrie's feeling good when you start seeing him mess around with that ball, but he always has it on the screen.
Saucy.
30 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, a second hug for LeBron on his way out as they split the season series. Remember, Rondo won the other one in Boston at the buzzer. Boston's 3-0 on their West Coast trip now, thanks in part to Kyrie's 13th 30-point game of the season. Afterward, LeBron talked about the news that both Ingram and Ball are shutting it down.
More importantly, I think it's just you put everything in perspective. I mean, at the end of the day, we know we played a game that we love, and our league is all about wins and losses, and that's what it's all about. But when you have something like that happen, you're able to put things in perspective and understand how important those things are as well. And then on the flip side, you just don't take an opportunity for granted when you do get on the floor, because it could be taken away from you, and your season can be shut down, like B.I.'s instance and like Zoe's instance, like their cases. So obviously, we wish the best of health, not only to B.I., but to Zoe as well. It's it's challenging, but I kind of knew what I was getting myself into. But nobody, I didn't expect to be out 5.5 weeks at a crucial point in our season. We also didn't expect, our other brain of the team, Rajon Rondo, to be out another 5.5 weeks. We both got hurt at the same time, and I think it just took a hit on our team, at that point in time, which was a critical part going into the new year. So, but other than that, I think our young guys are very pure. They love to play the game. It's just some things that they have to continue to learn, and we have to continue to be patient with them while they learn it and take their bumps and bruises.
Expect a lot of questions like that between now and the end of the regular season. For LeBron, who was apparently in playoff activation mode, he told us, should he now be in summer activation mode?
I don't know if playoff activation mode ever really got activated because they took some very bad losses to some teams that weren't very good. I just think that for LeBron, coming down the stretch of this season, they're going to definitely limit his minutes, still go out there and be a leader, show these young guys how to do things, show them what it is to be a true professional and what it is to build every day and to try to learn to become a champion.
And there's also that big picture. When you talk about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar having so many, 6,000 points ahead or so of LeBron, it's still an opportunity for him to go out there, score the triple-double in, 28 minutes. Those are numbers that will continue to add up, and possibly he can reach that goal.
Meanwhile, Boston seems to have turned the corner. They'll stay in L.A. for the long weekend. Got to love those back-to-back road games in Los Angeles.
That's always a fun trip.
They wrap up their West Coast trip Monday night, which we've now rebranded as game night. Check your calendar. It says game night now. Charlotte and Houston first up, and then it's the C's and the Clippers. Coverage starts at 7:30 Eastern time. And speaking of those Hornets, still 2 games below the playoff cut line as they took the floor in Milwaukee on Saturday night. Giannis Antetokounmpo, he stopped, at least they thought they'd stopped him, but they hadn't really. Charlotte takes a lead. Remember, they're fighting for that 8th spot in the East. They need these games. Miles Bridges flies in.
Nice little putback right there by Miles.
We got a Shaq and a Fool moment.
Okay, what we got?
Follow along. Cody Zeller makes a free throw. Timeout is called, okay? He's got one more coming. Comes back out. Misses the second free throw. Giannis rebounds it. Zeller realizes it's a live ball. He's the only one who did. And scores a bucket.
Oh, that counts.
Does that count?
Yes. It was live. He just rebounded. They forgot it was the one.
Coach Bud is arguing. I don't know what argument you're making, but so that was fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, I see you, Brook Lopez.
Meanwhile,
not just a stretch 5. He's putting it on the floor, dunking on folks now.
Brook Lopez,
knocking down the 3 ball.
Like that ball, was also live. 16 in the third quarter.
And this is the part of Brook Lopez's game that people forgot about. When he was a Brooklyn Net, that's how he made his living, on the block, one-on-one moves, getting it done.
Seems like a whole different era ago, right?
Yeah.
That was Lopez before he started launching those threes. Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Hey, now if he's hitting that, we're on to something.
Antetokounmpo and Lopez scored 51 combined points on just 22 shots.
Wow, that's super efficient.
Yeah, that's hyper efficiency.
And for the Hornets, that's bad news for them. They're a half game back of the Magic and a full game and a half back of the Miami Heat for the 8th spot. Milwaukee now 3 up on the Raptors for the best record in the NBA. More coming up here on Game Time, presented by State Farm. The Nets need every win they can get, and they need it every second in Atlanta.